salutations to the masters present here, to the images and in the subtle, and especially to our orientation. My salutation to all of you physically present and also participating in other ways at this meeting here. I'm always very, very thankful coming here to these Guru Pooja celebrations. It's now my 24th visit to India in the context of Rajita class. And each time, these meetings are of pondering on who am I, where do I come from, what am I going to, what I am doing. Simple question Master asked that tells us to reflect on regularly, but in the humdrum of everyday life, one is doing, acting, and not taking a step back and reflecting on what is going on, and also in one's life, in the surrounding life. I've been now for 3 weeks in India, a little bit more, first on a pilgrimage to places of Lord Dattatreya and Sri Salam, then coming here for the group life, which we had now from the beginning of this year till the 9th of January, and now participating here at the beautiful Guru Pooja. For me, something extraordinary is my life is I really need no physical people related to the World Teacher Class. Very rarely I meet physical people. Maybe on 2 occasions in a year, 2, 3 occasions. For the rest, I'm interacting digitally only. And digital in Zoom also is something different from physical meeting. And especially being together with such a group like it is here, it is an extraordinary experience each time. The presence of the group, the interchanges coming here. And I often, when I'm walking through the village where I'm really living in, I think I'm a kind of an alien coming from some other planet. I smile to the people, say hello, greet them, but nobody's interested in what I'm doing. Nobody knows anything of the world I'm in except my wife, but she's not there now. So, and then the interactions on distance, via Zoom, others, and the feeling, wow, we are a global brotherhood. I'm extremely intensely interacting globally with many, many people, having group meetings digital, having projects digital, having communications digital, but all just in the electronic ethers. And so being here physical gives a special impression and intensity and reality experience. And this, I wanted to exchange with you some thoughts which are active in me over the last time, and especially also during the journey. We know that the masters have a grand plan. We know it through the books, especially the books of HPB, Madame Blavatsky, Alice Bailey, Nicholas Röhrig, the teachings of Master K and Master K2K. When I was in Sri Salam on the pilgrimage tour, those 2 weeks ago, we were in the main temple together with a brother from Hyderabad guiding us through the temple. There were 2 little ladies in the queue for us, and Raju, our guide from Hyderabad, was speaking with them. We were together in a little space outside the big queue. We were just beautifully together for some moment. An intensity and an exchange happening in a surrounding which was just coming forward, and people were in many other mental situations. These little girls were very much interested in what Raju was telling at that moment, and it was fascinating to see the brilliant eyes of these girls, how they held at his lips. not a short moment, very slowly progressing and then being at different places in the inner side of the temple. And all we were together, this small travel group which happened to come together, the family, the children, and us going around. And then there were seeds of an Audumbara tree lying on the ground. I picked up a few seeds, showed the girls, 8, 10 years old, what is inside the seeds. It seemed to be just powder. And then I told them, this is not powder. This is a potential tree, not only one tree, it is a forest of trees which is in there. Oh, what? They had big eyes. Here, the seed? Not possible. But they were very fascinated. I told them that an old lady in Germany took such seeds, put them on a piece of paper, sprayed water over it for 6 to 9 months. These seeds very slowly started sprouting. It became trees which she distributed at a group life. It was in 2018. And these trees were spread then over the groups in Germany. And the girls were fascinated, and for us it was also a miracle. This seed, with so many tiny powder, had such a potential. Some of the trees now don't exist anymore, some grew and are distributed and still alive. And this reminded me very much of the work of Hierarchy. They have power and potential, seeds given out in form of books, given out in form of teachings over thousands of years, in planned steps, a high concentration of wisdom. We cannot imagine the intensity, the fire contained in the teachings of Hierarchy, like in these seeds from a tree, which have the potential to bring out each a very big tree. And so the masters are reflecting, meditating on how can they give the seeds to humanity? How can humanity learn to use these seeds, that they get roots and start sprouting? So in the books of Alice Bailey, you come to know that they use a big plan, the time plan. And this goes over thousands of years. We know from Master K, Music of the Soul, and Sacrifice also, and then how the wisdom was handed over to by Lord Krishna to Lord Maitreya and the first shriner of masters, and then they started working over thousands of years, but there were already thousands of years behind. But then there was a new impulse for the present dark age. We are all at the moment in a part of, for some, a light field, but for many a very, very dark age of a lot of sufferings, of a lot of confusion and ignorance. Ignorance about basic ways of living, ignorance about the wisdom, ignorance about how to behave with this other, killing. When you look at the newspapers, you are flooded with darkness. And this is frustrating also for group members often. But when we know that there is such a light at the same time available, such seeds are there, how can we make best use of these seeds and bring them out? The hierarchy started pondering on it at certain meetings about 500 years ago. They made plans for the future. They examined each year again, how is the growth going on? And then in the 19th century, they found one lady, only one. It was only one person in humanity they found. That's the one we work with. They sent on tour around. They gave her training. They gave her wisdom in the Himalayas. They started a society, the Theosophical Society, which they trained to spread the wisdom. Many seeds were given out. Some were rotten, some sprouted. It went on. Hierarchy saw, they had a meeting and saw humanity could have a little better impulse. They had a meeting at the beginning of the 20th century. Before there came a surprise. Hierarchy did not know. But Blavatsky announced something, but nobody knew what would happen. There was one man sitting in Kumbakonam, receiving a cosmic thunderbolt, and we know we are sitting here only because of this, and this had changed the plan of hierarchy and the plan for humanity, and speeded up the evolution in a high degree. And also the need of wisdom, sharing the knowledge about it. Things happen without. The tree grows without anyone knowing that there's all this information in the seed falls to the ground, the seed starts sprouting, forests come out. Humanity need not know that there is in it. But when we are interested in, such seeds exist, and there needs a knowledge, and there needs an interest in knowledge that you discover there is this powder is not just powder, it is the power for growing a tree, and you can cultivate it even when you put your attention on it. It was not just falling to the ground. What this old lady did, she knew I can sprout trees, and she brought 160 trees of this seed, which I got from Pooja when I brought the Siddhartha book there, and she distributed. She constructed a camping bus, a change, to put all the trees for the May Call 2018 in Germany into this bus, and he came and put out trees and distributed trees with the knowledge, these trees you can make out of Odubara seeds, little trees, and distribute. The same is with us. We have knowledge. We know how to work with the teachings. We practice in our surrounding and can use this knowledge which we have for the greater good of our surrounding. We can just let it lay there. We can say, okay, some seed, interesting, we walk on. Or we can pick up the wisdom and start working in our lives with it. And discover, there's a potential, a fiery potential from what has been given by the masters. And this can change not only one life, not only 100 lives, it can change thousands and thousands of lives. Good disciples have given impulses to humanity. We don't know their names, but of some we know. Some names, Mahatma Gandhi, or the founders of a big humanitarian organization, Nicholas Roerich, and so there were people who, very few, gave out a fire to humanity and a new direction to them. And this is inspiring, in spite of all the chaos, in spite of all the difficulties. This is uplifting humanity now. So we ought not take interest in the darkness and in what is going on as chaos, but know where are these fiery seeds and where can we pluck such fire in our surrounding, and where can we put some water on them and get them to grow. We are living in a very special moment of time. We know from the teachings, we spoke about HPB, she started the first wave of bringing out the hierarchy into humanity. She traveled around all over the globe. Then came a second wave. Master Kumar said this one was Blavatsky and Roerich. They came out and they gave a second wave of teachings out, more as per the need of that time of humanity there. It started in the 20th of last century. At that time, it was not by chance that it happened. There was, of course, the energy of CDE coming down, but also there was a group gathering of the masters. At the end of every quarter of a century, hierarchy has a conclave, a meeting where they discuss the plan for the next 100 years. And there they think, what is the situation with humanity? What can we do? Where can we focus on? And how can we bring humanity forward in the next century? So this meeting, as per Bailey's teaching, was in 1925. We know At that time, a soul came down who incarnated on 12th of August 1926, and then later, 50 years later, or less later, in 53, there was a contact with hierarchy and this man. And he got a special training. He got opening of doors. It was, I know 2 persons only. So, Master K came to slowly know the plan, which hierarchy was planning. He came to know through his training. He started working with the plan. He started teaching to people, and he gave out much wisdom. And from one step came the other step. He started in 1961 this kind of meetings for the externalization of hierarchy, with an altar with many pictures of the masters, which bringing people together to show them the reality of hierarchy. And this is the purpose why we meet, bringing out the wisdom of hierarchy and the existence of hierarchy, demonstrating a society which has no idea as such of the existence of hierarchy. In a talk we had with Master Pooja, he mentioned, when I spoke about different gurus to him, Sadhguru and several others, he said, as per my understanding, only Vajita Trust has a direct link to heaven. I was astonished about this, but I pondered on this and I realized this knowledge of these great ones. Look, in which movement do you know about all the great ones? Coming from Krishna to Lord Maitreya. Look in how many movements they know about Maitreya. Moria, Kutumi, Sanjaman, and then the new ones, Blavatsky, then EK, KPK. You find nearly nothing. You find a lot of people talking about master and so, but the clear knowledge is to be found here in the teachings of Vajita Trust, especially for the present wave of teachings. In the books of Alice Bailey, and this is now a point to which I wanted to come in this talk, there are indications about the time slot for which these teachings were given. The time slot goes from 1925 to 2025, the year where we are now. Master Pooja also mentioned this, that the third wave, the second wave was Bailey, Röhrig, as I mentioned, the third wave. They are called in the text of externalization of hierarchy, the forerunners. The group of forerunners the third wave goes from, as Bailey says in her books, from 1975 to 2025. And this, Master Kumar said, this is a time slot we are working, Master Ike and the Vajita Trust. He said, didn't say myself, but it was this time slot under consideration. This year, where we are now in, is announced at different places in the books of Alice Bailey as a start of the next wave, a fourth wave, where slowly an externalization of hierarchy comes on another level. And new teachings would be given. It says there only very few occult people will understand it in the fourth decades. So we cannot expect we just go to the next bookshop and, oh, there it is. But it needs understanding, it needs inquisitive orientation, it needs a lot of service and practical orientation to collaborate with the plan of hierarchy. But this is happening at the moment. And when astrologers look at the present chart of this year, last November, Pluto came into Aquarius. Then comes Neptune changing sign into Aries. He comes from his sign, Pisces, watery sign, into a fiery sign, and fire and water help clearing the emotions and uplift the waters. Saturn, also a cold planet, comes into Aries. Uranus changes signs this year. 4 big planets within 12 months. It is an energy change you didn't find, not in my lifetime and not before. Such a condensed change of energies astrologically within 1 year. And we are just at the beginning of this year. We do not know what is coming here. We see only the chaos in the world, but we need to see the power and light which is happening at this moment. It is also announced as the next step happening now, that much more Aquarian light coming down and spread to humanity. And if not we, who should focus on this light? It is our task to see this light, to orient to this light. The hierarchy looks around and looks and spots the light spots which are around. They do this with the beginning, the disciples, every some incarnations, a little bit often, more often. But they don't look about Facebook likes or membership fees or organizational structures. They look at the headlight, what they see and how are they working? What does humanity do? And this light is of interest. How good is our headlight switched on and aligned with the greater light? Master Kuma gave us the humanity, the greatest link to light possible. It was shut down for millions of years, the direct link to Shambhala. And the book which Master Kuma, especially at the end, gave out, they were giving intensity of orientation. We have not a dot of idea what it means in the longer run. We are at the very, very beginning of discovering the power which has been given by Master K and Master KPK. We think, oh, we know already a few years, but it needs decades and decades of application and use of the wisdom until they start sprouting in us and in humanity as such. So we are forerunners together with the forerunners in this team, where we are preparing some work, or the hierarchy is playing, not we are just helping. Master Maria says, through human hands only. So the work needs to be done by human hands, but the plan is not with us. We can have a peep into it here and there. But this is enough to give us an orientation and to help us understand a little bit of the importance of the time in which we are, and maybe strengthen our will to align with the greater will and the greater perspective of the evolution of humanity and the other kingdoms of nature. Thank you very much.